I wanted to do something a little different and share a doula and nanny's perspective on the decision on having children. As somebody who's worked with families and children during the postpartum birth continue, I have with time have had different thoughts and beliefs on, is having children the right fit and decision for myself? If you were to ask me this question 5 years ago, I would have said, of course, no question about it. But I think with time and exposure, I've seen a lot of things and my perspective has shifted quite a bit. And that does not ever take away the fact that I absolutely love working with babies. I love working with families. I absolutely cherish all my memories and time that I have spent with newborns and supporting moms and just being in that space. But it also doesn't take away all that it entails. And as someone who's been on the other side, I really want to share and capture that because I think sometimes people don't always think of all the full picture when it comes to the decision of having children. So I want to touch on three little key points. The first one being invisible load. Now, invisible load is something that I think has gained a lot of attention and people are talking about it more often. But typically, and this could be in a same sex relationship, marriage, and this is not a specific gender, but typically one person in that partnership will carry the invisible load. And when carrying that invisible load, that would entail anything from remembering when the baby needs to go to their vaccine appointment, to ordering the diapers that have run out, to making sure that they're getting the right nutritional needs or that they're able to have honey after year one, to taking the dogs to the vet, to making sure that payments are going out on time, to making sure that the lawn gets mowed, to take going to grocery store shopping or putting in the grocery order. Usually in a partnership, it has been determined that these are your roles and these are my roles. It can fall onto one person being the invisible load. So this person is part usually takes care of all the behind the scenes of life and everything that's happening in the home. Yes, it's taking the kids to school, but it's also making sure that the one child has the correct form for field trip and the other who's going to dance lessons after class has all their thing like their shoes and all the things that they need for dance class. So it's all those little things, and it takes up time and it takes space in your mind, and it can be a lot of pressure to always have to know and remember these things. And even sometimes I have seen or listened to articles or even just seen with my own eyes that the person that carries the invisible load will often delegate the task to their partner. But even the sense of thinking about this and then having to delegate to someone else, it doesn't really eliminate the problem because that person still has to think about it and then delegate and then also maybe check in and see, did it get done, what the status is, if it needs any support being completed. And then the person that was delegated the task simply just has to complete the task. So it is a lot on a being. And I think it really made me think about what type of partner you have really plays a huge role in your perspective and journey into parenthood. Can your partner handle managing things for their own home? How do they take responsibility within their own family? How do they navigate issues and conflict within their family, for example? How do they go about things in own life? Are they efficient in terms of making sure that they go to the doctors, they go to their appointments? Are they pretty on top of making sure that their bills are taken care of and paid on daily? If these are little things that matter to you, then I think it's really important that they also matter to your partner because it can really add up in parenthood. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is children don't choose their parents. And so I think as a future potential parent, That's a big responsibility that I think of often in terms of making sure that I'm doing everything that I can do to really equip myself and body for that journey. It's like a requirement of myself. How could I not do this if I am being selfish in wanting this being to come on earth? The least I can do is give them the best start possible. And I feel at this time in life and age that there is no excuses anymore. You can get on your phone and find that information, this research, this article, this video. There's really nothing like stopping us from accessing that education and then implementing it for ourselves. And that, as a potential mother, it is a duty to really make sure that I'm connected and with the right partner to step into parenthood with, and to even create a being with. And I do believe that my body would assist me in making that decision. I do know, and as I understand the science and biology, I know that the egg does attract the sperm, and the sperm that it feels like it's the right fit for it. And so I think when I recognize that my body would also do that, I need to give my mind and brain also that grace in terms of when that needs to happen, it will also happen for myself. And I think I always find it fascinating when you hear of someone. Well, I've heard the story of this woman who was pregnant, not pregnant, sorry. She was in a relationship and was struggling with infertility. And then I think things were just a little bit of a struggle. So they went their own ways. And then she moved on and she was in a new relationship and she just suddenly got pregnant. And of course, there are many other factors to this, but I always like that story always stays with me because I do think that sometimes it's just about the right fit. And so I think instead of sometimes maybe we rush into this decision because of biological clock, even though we don't think it's the right partner, it's really important to slow down and really think of how those actions will affect your child in the future. And it's not just about what you want in this very moment, but also how that's going to affect your child in the future. And then another thing that I wanted to touch on was the state of the world. I think with how things are changing, and when I see things about AI and you can record anyone now with meta glasses and just privacy and even the temperament of children, I feel in these days and ages, it is quite different. And even the world we're living in, I sometimes feel like it can be very filled with anxiety and fear. Is it a world that I want to continue bringing children into when I know that there are other children in this world who need homes? And a lot of the times it pulls on my heart because I've been able to love other people and to love children that are not my own and love them so dearly that I know that it's not really about family or blood that makes you a family. And so, how could I not maybe provide that to a child that's in need rather than going and creating a child? And also understanding that adoption and fostering also has its own requirements and processes. But I think being open minded and really like exploring other aspects in terms of if having children or being conflicted about the idea is something that speaks to you, that there's other ways to go about it. So I really wanted to share this coming from my perspective as a nanny and a doula because I have spent time in multiple homes and with multiple family dynamics and really seen many different things. And when I think back about if I hadn't had this experience or exposure, how jaded or my perspective would be on this. And as a South Asian woman, I think a lot of the times, or is for me at least, like in my family or culture, you are kind of geared to thinking that you're supposed to follow this linear path. And that's like what? Finish school, have a good job, get married, have children. That is the linear path of success that I've been told all my life pretty much and kind of have seen around me. But doing doula work really broke that for me. And I really got to see that anything is really possible. And the individuals and families who are very conscious and really thought about the decision that they were making and really had so much intention and care and desire to do their best for the child. I really like just felt that in the home and within them and in their family and with their baby. And I think that was really important to me and eye opening for myself. So this is coming from that perspective, and I hope it brings some clarity, or maybe makes you think of things in a different perspective. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it and you stayed this far, please like it and subscribe and let me know what you'd like to hear next. Thank you.